In the small town of Eldridge Hollow, where shadows seemed to cling to the corners of the streets and the wind carried whispers of old tales, there was a quaint little library nestled between the baker's shop and a defunct antique store. The Eldridge Library, a modest brick building with ivy crawling up its sides, had seen better days. It was run by Clara Hargrove, a woman in her late 30s, whose love for books was only rivaled by her affection for the townsfolk. Her life revolved around the library's dusty shelves and the quiet hum of pages turning, a sanctuary for her in a world that often felt chaotic and overwhelming. It was a cold winter's night when Clara first stumbled upon the peculiar book. The clock had just struck midnight, the soft chime echoing through the silent library, when she noticed a strange glow emanating from the corner of the basement. Curious, she descended the creaky wooden stairs, the air growing colder with each step. As she approached the light, she discovered an ancient, leather-bound book lying open on a dusty table. The pages, yellowed with age, seemed to shimmer in the dim light. Clara reached out to touch the book, and a chill raced down her spine. The pages were filled with delicate handwriting, the ink dark and rich. Each entry detailed events that would unfold the following day in Eldridge Hollow, and as she read the first page, her heart raced. The description of the day ahead was eerily accurate. It spoke of a local farmer, Mr. Jennings, who would fall from his barn's roof while fixing it. She shook her head in disbelief, rationalizing that it was merely a coincidence, a product of her imagination. Yet, as the clock chimed once more, she closed the book, deciding to return to her desk and dismiss the strange occurrence. The next day unfolded exactly as described in the book. Clara had been in the library when the news broke. Mr. Jennings had fallen and suffered severe injuries. The town buzzed with concern, but Clara could only think of the book. As night fell, she found herself unable to resist its call. The clock struck midnight again, and there it was, the book waiting for her, as if it had been expecting her return. She flipped through the pages, each entry meticulously detailing events, some mundane, some tragic. There was a description of a child's birthday party, the innocent laughter, the cake, and then at the end, the ominous warning of a tragic accident that would leave a child injured. Clara's heart sank. She couldn't help but feel a sense of dread as the weight of the book pressed down on her shoulders. As the days passed, the book continued to reveal horrific events. A car crash that claimed the life of a beloved teacher, a heart attack that took the town's mayor. Each entry brought a chill to her spine, and Clara began to notice a patterned victim was someone she knew, someone she had spoken to in the days leading up to their demise. The fear crept in like a thick fog, blurring her once comfortable existence. The more she read, the more frantic her mind became, questioning if she could alter the fate the book laid out before her. On the fourth night, Clara sat at her desk, trembling as she prepared to read the next entry. The words were written in the same fluid script, but tonight there was something different, a sense of urgency that pulsed through the ink. She scanned the page, her breath catching in her throat. It spoke of a confrontation at the library. Clara would be involved, and someone would die. Her heart raced as she tried to make sense of it. Could she change what was written? Clara thought of her colleagues and the patrons who frequented the library. Panic settled in her chest. The following day was Saturday. The library would be bustling with people, and she couldn't let anyone get hurt. Determined to alter the fate written in the book, Clara spent the day devising a plan. She warned her colleagues not to come to the library that evening, citing an outbreak of illness as an excuse. She prepared herself for a confrontation that never seemed to clarify. Midnight loomed ever closer, and she paced the aisles of the library, anxiety tightening its grip. As the clock struck 12, she took a deep breath and opened the book, her fingers trembling against the pages. To her horror, the words had changed. The entry that described the confrontation was gone, replaced by a new entry that sent a chill through her body. Clara Hargrove will not be alone. The librarian will face the truth of her choices. The warning was vague, yet it filled her with dread. As the hours slipped away, Clara felt the weight of eyes upon her. Shadows danced across the walls, flickering in the candlelight as if mocking her efforts to change fate. Just as she thought she was alone, she heard a soft whisper, a voice that felt familiar, yet distant. Turning around, she found herself face to face with a figure shrouded in darkness. "Why are you here?" Clara's voice quivered as she stepped back, her heart racing. Because you can't run from the truth, the figure replied, stepping into the light. It was a reflection of herself, her own face, yet twisted in anguish. You cannot escape the choices you've made. Who are you? Clara gasped, confusion flooding her mind. What do you want from me? I am the weight of your decisions, the fear you harbor, the figure whispered, stepping closer. You have watched people die without taking action, hoping the book would spare you from consequence. Clara's heart sank as realization struck her. The figure was a manifestation of her guilt, the reflection of her inaction. She had let fear dictate her choices, hoping to hide from the responsibility that weighed upon her. In that moment, she understood the book was not a curse, but a mirror reflecting her own cowardice. Desperate to break free from the cycle, Clara closed her eyes and took a deep breath. I can't let this happen, she declared, her voice stronger than before. I will face whatever comes. I will save them. The shadowy figure laughed, a haunting sound that echoed through the library. You cannot save everyone. Some fates are inevitable. I will try, Clara said firmly, determination igniting within her. She rushed to the book, flipping through its pages, her heart pounding. I refuse to let fear control me. With each word she read, Clara found strength. She envisioned herself warning the townspeople, intervening in their lives. She could reach out to those in danger, confront the events written on the pages. It was a gamble, a desperate attempt to rewrite the ending. The clock chimed again, signaling the end of the midnight hour, but Clara felt a shift within her. The shadows began to dissipate, the oppressive weight of dread lifting as she grasped the book tightly. I won't be a prisoner of this fate anymore. As dawn broke over Eldridge Hollow, Clara found herself standing at the library's entrance, the sun's warm rays pouring over her. She took a deep breath, ready to face the day. No longer bound by fear, she would become a force for change in her town, determined to protect those she loved. The handwritten book had become more than a source of horror. It had sparked a fire within her to take control of her own destiny. Clara knew she could not erase the past, but she could shape the future. With a newfound sense of purpose, she stepped out into the bright morning light, ready to confront whatever lay ahead, knowing she was no longer alone in the fight against fate. The echoes of the haunted whispers would no longer dictate her life.